Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to take a look at starting to collect Conquest Last Arc of Kings by Parabellum Wargames, and we're going to take a look at the two-player starter set, and today we're going to take a look at the Spires half of this set and see how we can use it to start a Spires army for Conquest. Now, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through and look at all the different units inside the box set, talk a little bit about what all of them do on the tabletop, and then we'll take a look at some other units we can bring into the force on top of this initial box set and expand upon that initial force. We'll then, at the end of the video, look at a little sample army list we've put together with all of this put into practice for you to use as some inspiration to create your own army list, or indeed copy ours if that's what you wish to do. And so, with this, we get one character option, and that is the Ferromancer. You can see this model on the bottom left with its cool little lantern pheromone thing that it is wielding. The Ferromancer is a light class infantry type hero. He's got a cool couple of abilities. First of all, he's got his Pheromone Gland Burst, which is a special rule where, as a character action, Ferromancers can select a friendly regiment with an 8-inch, and that regiment either gains +1 March or +1 Resolve to the character's next activation, which is pretty sweet. And then he's also got like a cool set of other things. He has the Supremacy ability Suppress Survival Instinct as well, where when this character standing on the battlefield, all regiments in his warband within 16 may reroll failed morale tests. The Supremacy ability is always considered to be active. And he's got access to Ferromancy. There's a ton of different cool ones of these. Accelerated Hibernation, for example, allows you to heal D6 wounds to a stand. You've got Ferromantic Drive, which is going to allow you to draw your next command card and then act immediately with units, getting some decay rules. So generally, a lot of the stuff with your Spires, you'll be able to do more things quicker, but you generally take decay, which sort of hurts you in the long run. Now, alongside this Ferromancer, we get 24 Force-Grown Drones. These are the stock standard unit for the Spires. They do have shields and spears, which give them a nice support rule and also +1 save in that front arc. But other than that, they are not particularly great, but they are dirt cheap. 3 stands will only set you back 90 points in game, and while they don't have great stats, they do have some cool models that they can take inside the unit. First of all, they are a light unit as well, which means they're going to get on the board early, but the Catabolic Node is a special upgrade that you can take where it potentially does 2d6 worth of hits onto an enemy unit as it explodes into their ranks. Now, alongside the Force-Grown Drones, you can see behind them we have the Brute Drones. These are the much larger drones we have. These are a much more heavier hitting unit available to you. They are a restricted unit, and they've got some cool rules. First of all, Flurry is really nice, just giving them flat out rerolls to hit. With 5 attacks, rerolling hits, and Clash 2 inspired Clash 3 is pretty nice. Unstoppable as well, where they can reroll failed charges to pretty much make sure they're going to get that inspired charge. And they've also got the Oblivious rule there as well, where you only count, you have to take more wounds effectively to take morale tests with the unit. Lastly, we have the big thing in the back, that is the Abomination, a monster, heavy class monster for the Spires. This has Flurry, Terraflying 1, and Cleave 1, making it pretty solid. Only a Clash of 2, but 10 attacks there. Remembering, if this thing charges, it's going to do impact hits, it's going to do lots and lots of damage. You can get through quite a bit. Resolve 4 and Defensive 3 isn't too bad, and a 10-inch move there as well is all really nice. A pretty cheap 135 point monster that can actually put out some serious damage for its points value. And so, looking at other things to grab. Now, I want to talk about something because the initial starter box, if you choose to build one large unit of Force-Grown Drones, you will only have one mainstay choice and 2 restricted choices within that box set. Now, while I certainly do recommend probably just for your first couple of games to play straight out of the box and have a legal army straight out, definitely build 2 units of Force-Grown Drones with that initial box set. Probably want to think about picking up some more Force-Grown Drones later. They definitely help build up your units and make those 2 units definitely into some larger blobs, which really take the buffs that you can get from your Ferromancers and stuff like that a lot better. So really do recommend picking up some more Force-Grown Drones and just bulking up your nice cheap infantry units. Now, speaking of those characters that can give some really nice buffs to your Force-Grown Drones, I want to talk about the Biomancer. I really like the Biomancer. First of all, he's got a Mend Flesh ability where he can straight up just heal 2 wounds to a unit he's with. This goes really well with some of the other abilities and the other draw events he has, like Biotic Renewal, where he rolls a d6 and the regiment heals a number of wounds equal to the value. He's just got this straight up, which is really cool. And then you've got some other cool things you can use as well. Now, he also has a bunch of cool mutations available to him. He's got Biomancies. A personal favourite of mine is Unstable Enhancement, where you can get +4 Marsh, +2 Clash, and +1 Volley with a unit, however you take Decay 3. This combats really well though, as there are some cool abilities like Architect's Catch, where all your decay is going down by 1. I think at this point it's worth talking to about what Decay is. So Decay X, so Decay will have a number next to it. At the end of this regiment's activation, if any stands have the Decay X, will roll a number of dice equal to X for each stand in the regiment with a special roll. For each 5 or 6, the regiment suffers a wound. Casualties suffered from Decay do not carry loss morale tests. If a stand of several types has the Decay special roll, add all the dice together. So, you would get a ton of different Decay. Biomancers are really cool. They have a ton of different upgrades and are much more healy than Buffy, but can go sort of down either route you want, which is really, really cool to play around with. Now, we also have Marksman Clones here suggested. A reason for this, it is nice to have a bit of range in the game. Range in Conquest is sort of a supporting role in the game. There are very few units that are going to be major sort of damage dealers with their ranged attacks, but really, really cool stuff. So, the Marksman Clones, I think, are just a really interesting unit to sort of add alongside your force, just giving you a nice ranged option to do some damage at range for your opponents and prevent them from getting into combat unharmed. Lastly, I have Centaur Avatara. This is a heavy class cavalry unit. Brutal Impact 2 means they have, -2 to your opponent's defense rolls when they charge. Resist Decay 1 is really nice, and shields, giving them a nice defensive 4 in that front arc. 5 attacks each, clash of 3, 5 wounds apiece, resolve 4. These guys are pretty solid for a unit. A really heavy hitting cavalry unit that's going to give you a nice fast moving heavy hitting piece in your Spire's force, which I think is just something you generally don't have. This is really nice to hold your opponent up with, the blobs that are going to continuously get regenerated from the force going drones, and have, your heavy pieces around them, which is really cool. And so here we have a sample army list for you. This is a Spire's 1,000 point army on the nose. Now, we've got our Ferromancer, who has been selected as our Warlord. He's got Synaptic Coordination here as one of the upgrades we've chosen to give him. I really like Synaptic Coordination. What this one here is going to do is this is going to allow him to effectively look at our opponent's cards and sort of get an idea of what's happening on the table. We then are going to give him a Biotic Wellspring, which is really cool. This is going to give him the Biotic Renewal draw event, which is just cool. This makes him sort of on level with the Biomancer we've got later. And then Accelerated Hibernation in there as well is the ability to potentially not do much with the unit, but actually get some heals. So really cool after we sort of slog something out, hit something on the flank with one of our stronger units, we can sort of sit there, heal a little bit, and continue going on. We then, in his warband, have 3 brute drones, and then a unit of 6 force-grown drones with the catabolic node and the pheromonic node, which is like a standard Baron champion all in one. The other unit, we have a Biomancer in our other warband. He is going to lead that one. The Biomancer that we've gone for has got Flesh Carver in there, which is going to effectively allow him to do some other cool abilities. It's going to allow him to get extra healing in there. He's then got Architect's Touch in there, which reduces all the decay values by 1 in his units. And then he's got Unstable Enhancement, which is the big one that just gives +4 Marsh, +2 Cash, and a bunch of other cool abilities, but does give Decay 3 or Decay 2 thanks to the Architect's Touch that we've gone for on this model. We then have another unit of 6 force-grown drones with catabolic node and pheromonic node, and then an abomination in there for the last model. All in all, this army is pretty much going to be those 2 units of force-grown drones with the Ferromancer and Biomancer in there, sitting there holding the line. Meanwhile, the abomination and the brute drones are going to provide some flanking units to really deal the damage, where we hold up our opponent's pieces with those 2 big blobs of force-grown drones. If you've been playing with Spires in Conquest Last Argument of Kings, let us know how you've been going and what you've been doing down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we've got a link to our Discord server down in the video's description. And if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining Patreon or YouTube members, or purchasing something from our Ko-fi web store. All of them are linked in the video's description. Thank you all for everyone who chooses to help support the channel. As a special thank you to those people who have supported via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give a special shout out to them all. So a shout out to our patrons Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Owler and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nielsen, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dyna226, Derek, and GRP390. A special thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special shout out first of all to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you see, and to Xmorphic, who has done an amazing job at setting up our Discord server for her and making us have a nice place to content and to chat with all of our community. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.